All right, good evening, everybody. We are on to the 27th episode, I believe, of the story of Harold Davidson. This is the Priest DLC for Cultist Simulator, and I am your host, System Chalk, if I didn't say that already. So we were going to start by reading Franklin Bancroft's Diaries. Let's start off with that right now. So Lord Franklin Bancroft Diaries, 1750 to 1790. Lord Franklin Bancroft was initiated into the arts of the flower maker by the rose witch Fiona Ayrshire. He rose to become a society provider of occult services and secret pleasures before his abrupt disappearance in 1790. Bancroft seems to have been a talented adept, but devoted his energies to frustratingly whimsical projects, arranging grape-fetching races between Mansus spirits, teaching percussivants to juggle, and conjuring storms of imaginary blossoms for the rose witch Ayrshire, who resolutely refused ever to couple with him. Bancroft spends 20 pages bemoaning this last. And for the rest of it, just as a reminder, we've been trying to get a raw profit, or sorry, not a raw profit. Actually, no, raw profit worked. We could also try and get, I think it was the Voiceless Dead. There's a summon that I can. There's multiple summons that I can use. Callagines also work, but we are a little more limited in terms of what we can summon, just simply because of our limitation of staying at the White Door for a while. Okay, let's add Neville to the expedition. We need to get past the warded door. And Isabet. Isabet was just here, just a moment ago. Just here, almost certainly. So that was the line I was thinking of in the previous episode when I'd forgotten where Isabet was. All right, now I want to get rid of this. I want to get rid of this lantern influence before it becomes a problem. So we're gonna go and nope. Oh wait, no, we can still get away with this. So I'm going to take, I think we'll bring in Valsine. Again, the trappings are just what they are, although while I'm at it, so 8, I mean I can count this on my own, but 16, so, wait, 21st can't be right then. I'd be shocked if we were able to get assassins at this point, but we'll see. My follower will rise as a novice and rise as an initiate. I will administer the necessary oaths myself. And Valsine's ingenuities are endless, and her grip is stronger than a blacksmith's. We can pay up for the paints, although we are getting some staleness, so I shouldn't rely on that. And the sick room grows close and stale, time to get up. So we can go back through the White Door. Hopefully we'll get some knock influence. I might spend some more time in the Blue Silk Pavilion, just in hopes of grabbing that knock influence again. A rote effort. Honestly, I'm only going through the motions. The quality of my work will no doubt suffer. It's nothing to be ashamed of here. All right, my recent work has been is considered notable. I've exhibited the latest paintings publicly. Surely someone will buy something. Well, the staleness didn't seem to hurt our return, so let's just take a minute here to staleness. We did also get an extra mystique out of that, and we've got a net of 3 for our efforts. So first thing I'm going to do here is wait as close as I can to 8 seconds. Well, I mean 4 now, but to just let everything get a little older. And I am going to continue to paint with a bunch of notoriety. 1, it's not a terrible way to make money. But number 2, it's just so that I can try and get a little more time to get someone to destroy the evidence. Furthermore, the longer we draw this out, there's the possibility that we will just simply be able to outlast the evidence. So we'll bring in the glimmering this time around unless there's something else to replace it. And we bear great power of opening, will almost certainly shatter this warded door. All doors must open, as all lives must end. This door has found its end here today. Alright, the Diaries. The mantra here recorded is a high and exacting magic, which can be used to pledge one's spirit to the Watchman, beginning an ascent to the house. Bancroft boasts of his ability to recite it when in his cups. He has also set it to music for performance with fireworks at Vauxhall Gardens. So here is the Unmerciful Mantra. This is something that we can upgrade. Well, we've already been able to upgrade this for a while, but something that I'm kind of storing. And we're on to our last document now. So this is the Flayed Tantra, which we got from an earlier vault in the Shires. This tantra is recorded as being spoken by an enigmatic individual identified as Peel, with many of the qualities of the mythological Naga. Flayed Tantra played a notable part in Alexander Sparrow's paranoid pamphleteering. So we'll translate it from Sanskrit, we'll read it, and then if we don't have any more books, we will learn a new language and then see where we're at after. We'll pay up for paints again. So far, our paints have gotten us a decent return. I do need to prepare for a potential season of sickness. We've got the money for it, but being able to get the vitality would be better. And Valsine is not a machine. We are reasonably confident of that because she has been observed now and then to commit quite human errors. Okay, out of curiosity, I just want to see what the game tells me when I try to make an assassin. So we've got Eldridge, who's already at level 5. We've got the ceremony, and then we will add Betty's Blade. Good lord. Okay, we are quite a bit further along than I had thought that we would be. Fair enough. I'm not going to rush it, but I'm going to level up the remaining cult members, and we can rededicate ourselves a bit earlier than expected. My follower will kneel as a novice and rise as an initiate. I will administer the necessary oaths myself. Dorothy is an enthusiastic sort, and I have turned her enthusiasm to our advantage. The icy atmosphere would help me bring out the dead, but let's try the Lodge of the Sage Knight still. I recall my dream. I was in the Lodge of Blue Silk, flapping in the winds of the bounds at the Mansus edge, and here was its mistress, who welcomed me as she welcomes all travelers. Company is nice, she confided, but I still miss my Christopher. 10 years. 10 years and not enough. We could not have been long together, not without touching each other, and you know what occurs when a man long lies with a long woman, or perhaps you don't. I hope you don't. I won't tell you just in case. I will give you a tiny gift. So once again, we go through the white door. One of the side effects here is I may get some vitality for the season of sickness, so that's another reason for me to go. If I'd gotten the pulsing airs, that would have decayed down into vitality, so I suppose I missed out there, but I still think going to the Lodge of the Sage Knight's the right call. And I can paint this restlessness, or I can try and do a summoning with it, so I'll take a quick look. We do have the Grail aspect, and the moth, so it might turn out for me. My recent work is considered notable. I've exhibited the latest paintings publicly. Surely someone will buy something. Okay. So I'm going to start by seeing whether or not the restlessness will help me in the summoning. We're still maintaining with the 2 staleness, and again we've net 4, net 3. So I can't really complain about my treatment by the public. So let's just take a second. Excuse me. I've hit adolescence. Let's just take a second here with the sunset rite. So Igavine rite may be sufficient. Let's not think of it that way. Let's bring. Oh nope, but my Knock followers are on an expedition, so I may have created a little trouble for myself. Huh. There may be some possibilities here, but yeah, so no matter what, I have to use the knock. So we bring Saliba. Okay, we do. Yeah, we do get the raw profit. So there is something of a gamble that I'm taking here, right? So the safest thing for me to do, it's not that hard for me to generate restlessness. So the safest thing for me to do would be to continue painting for a couple of rounds. Actually, you know what? I'm probably going to regret this, but I'm actually going to give this a shot. So again, we'll run out the clock on the investigation. I'm getting very bold there. So we've probably got about 80 or not even 80, more like 73 now, before the before we have more notoriety than we can paint away. But of course, we've got 120 seconds of the tentative evidence existing. So clearly I had the option to get the raw profit, but in this particular case, I may be able to make the tentative evidence just go away on its own, and then I'll have a raw profit to get rid of whatever evidence comes as a result of this investigation. So I prepared the text for study. This tantra is recorded as being spoken by an enigmatic individual identified as Peel, with many of the qualities of mythological Naga. The flayed tantra has played a notable part in Alexander Sparrow's paranoid pamphleteering, so sorry, that was the same text again. Sometimes it changes. Read the flayed tantra. Peel was numbered among the great hooded princes, but it breaks with its brethren and followed the Thunderskin in the endless dance. Once again, we'll pay for the paints. And Dorothy's enthusiasm has become an obsession. She will not cease at how she loves to dance. So we'll try with Leo again. In this case, we may also have the opportunity to get some heart just from the upgrade. Leo's an earnest sort, but he's prepared to do what he must. So, I mean, if I wanted the restlessness, I've got it there, but let's go back to the Lodge of the Sage Knight, and I get a fascination for no trouble. Last night, in the billowing blue of the Lodge of the Sage Knight, I sat on the velvet cushions and watched two dead contend with shining swords. They came with the place, said the woman who rules here now, the one who once called herself Gallagher. I was not the Sage Knight, if that's what you're wondering. He went higher in the Mansus, long before I came here. My attention has drifted. The swords sparkle like falling water. The dead move like dancers. So back to the white door. I do need to keep my health in mind now, but we'll get rid of the fascination in an upgrade to disciple rather than excuse me, than dreaming it away. The White Library. The room is bleached and quiet. The chairs are pale wood. The table is topped with white marble. A low draft blows through an ill-fitting sea-facing casement. In winter, it must be insupportably cold. A white-painted glass case holds a shelf of books wrapped oddly in coils of copper wire. Some of the books are exotic 18th century pornography. Others are botanist journals. Some, however, have value for our studies. A yellowing note tucked into the spine of one reads, "Watch for me, J.C." Someone we may have encountered in a previous episode. Alright, good work, Neville and Enid. We have Those Who Do Not Sleep, a Fusine text attributed to the mystic Broadnax, so now we'll definitely need to read the journal. The Shaven Lock Tantra, Gildersleeve's Latin Grammar, we've already read, and on Matthias and the Amethyst Imago Lost. Finally, the Concursum Diaries. So definitely a good return as far as our books are concerned. Now, we've got more money than we know what to do with, so we're going to head straight to Gladwin Lake. Beneath the stark slopes of the fells, the mist-wreathed surface of the lake waits. There was a twin altar here before the Romans came, and a legend of a serpent who was sent to defile that altar. Now, the serpent may mean I need to use my knock followers again, but let's try and see if we can get that summoning out of the way before we mess around with anything else. Beneath the surface of the lake, or in some cliffside nook perhaps, some relics remain for us yet. The recent work is considered notable. I've exhibited the latest paintings publicly. Surely someone will buy something. Okay, so we know that there's going to be, like, we're going to get caught at some point. I didn't see how much money I made out of that, incidentally. I should have checked, but we're up to 4 staleness. So I'm going to do something a little different here. Normally, I like to leave the longest lived one on the table. Actually, hang on. Nope. I'm gonna do the thing that I normally do, which is the one with the longest lifespan. I'm gonna let tick down, and we're gonna paint with the rest of these. So again, I really only need to do this one more time because we've got 76 seconds left on that evidence. There is always the chance that it's going to be picked up anyway, but we've done about the best. We've done the best that we can with what we've been given. And actually, because restlessness is helpful for me, I'm going to make a painting of Sylvia. Okay, cool. So we know we don't need to worry about the evidence anymore. There will be evidence generated, but we have the opportunity to do the proper summon now. Our expedition plans for the next challenge. It'll consume funds. I could add funds now, or I could send another follower. So we will we'll take I think we'll just use the edge that we have rather than try and bring the 2 knock followers in. I do want to use the knock followers for a summoning if I can get away with it. Once Peel had peeled itself, it had the ink it needed to write the Tantra. It had to face the wrath of its fellows. Here, the invocation here's the invocation it used to fend them off. Actually, come to think of it, I was able to deal with the I was able to do the summon without the knock followers before, so. Alright, the Geminate Invocation. The Sister in Witch has always been invoked for protection at crossroads and at moonrise, and where the land shelters the sea. So, even more progress. Apparently been misplacing a few of these. Alright, I think we're back on track. So, I would like to translate this one right away, but this is going to take translation, or sorry, read, translate, read. So that's 3 actions, whereas these are going to take 2. So the Shaven Lock Tantra, also known as the one who has shaven his hair. This, the story goes, is the lore that even the shape-changing Vantress rejected. Vanarus rejected. Lock the study door, the work begins. And yeah, we'll bring Neville and Enid along. Leo still yearns to preserve what is good and valuable, but he understands that to protect one's ideals, one must sometimes do questionable things. So we'll bring Eau Claire in next, and we will use the fascination as part of it. Eau Claire is quiet, meticulous, and remorseless. My follower will kneel as a novice and rise as an initiate. I will administer the necessary oaths myself. Kind of hoping to get lucky with vitality, to be honest. Okay, can't complain about a forgotten battle. Last night I visited the Lodge of the Sage Knight. My hostess manifested as an elegant woman with fashionably short hair and dark glasses. No, she admits, I don't need them any more than I need glasses. Than I need eyes. Allow me my sentimentalities. But you've come here for knowledge, I expect. Here's a story I heard in my Kerisham days. You're welcome to it. Only remember me if you come to make the pilgrimage. So once again, we go through the white door. Invoking the health is always, there's always the chance that we get a vitality out of it. I think that's really going to be the only way that I wind up with a vitality, to be honest, because we've stopped going to the orchard. Right, and recent works considered significant, so more mystique, which is always good. There's a contentment, glimmering. So even if they scoop up the notoriety, it's going to take too long, and we really just made our money back. Okay. So if I want, I can go back to the parish, but then the question would be, well, why go to the parish? I don't exactly need the money. Although the sermon on Moth might give me what I need. Yeah, I'm going to take one attempt at the parish now that I think of it. So we'll improvise a sermon on Moth. I'll speak to their souls, and if I speak with conviction, their souls may answer me. So this is in hopes of being able to summon a raw prophet. Eyes like gas lamps, scales like black jade. A serpent is a powerful foe, but is nothing before us. And now we call upon the mother of ants, which ariseth from wounds. The serpent's mouth is large enough to crouch in. Its tongue is the thickness of a man's shoulders, but almost certainly it will respect the power we bear. Now, are we talking like Neville shoulders? Because I imagine those are sort of like my shoulders. But, like, or are we thinking like matchless physique shoulders? Back! It's too much for us. All right, so I wonder what we're going to lose. I prepared the text for study. All right, let's read it. See if it changes. Also known as the... Okay, yep, we've got that before. The Tundra speaks glowingly of those who are prepared to abandon their old self to seek a new and higher self. It warns that once the change is truly begun, past the third mark, a return to the old self is dangerous and painful. And Eau Claire rarely speaks. She chooses her words with care. Even her movements have become economical. She is never seen to blink. So... step right up. We're now on to sort of the last batch. So Rhaenyra is the last of the, for lack of a better term, regular followers. That is, people who would only be able to move up to Disciple. We'll do a last batch of assassins. Now that's going to require 2 moves for Rose and Victor. Eldridge can be moved to an assassin right away. But overall, that'll cover us for our remaining followers. Rhaenyra continues to pursue her appetites discreetly, although her ambitions have grown. Okay, back to the Sage Knights. I recall my dream. This was the lodge of blue silk, flapping in the winds of the bounds at the Mansus edge, and here was its mistress, who welcomed me as she welcomes all travelers. Company is nice, she confided, but I still miss my Christopher. 10 years. 10 years and not enough. But we could not have been long together, not without touching each other. And you know what occurs when a man long lies with a long woman. Or perhaps you don't. I hope you don't. I won't tell you just in case. I'll give you a tiny gift. So we've got probably one more trip to the Mansus before we need to pay for medicine. I suspect that we're going to wind up paying, but I don't want to give up hope yet. Exaltation, sometimes my words and those I have borrowed move my congregation beyond mere concentration to exaltation. The glory demands truth. When we are clad in lies, then it shall burn them from us. The deeper the lore, the greater the chance of exaltation. So, no luck for me as far as generating restlessness. Now, that's not a big deal because we've gotten the sort of the higher priority, which is the evidence is gone. So, at some point we're going to have to deal with the notoriety. That was always true. So here, I guess here the question is, like, what do I want to do with my next few moves? So for instance, I could try and get rid of some of the staleness, do a bunch of passion paintings. That will generate more mystique, which will potentially draw out the investigation. Actually, that's maybe not a bad idea to do right now. I'll wait one more on that, actually. Just because 50 seconds is a little too close to the time. So you know what, actually let's deal with the fervor. So we can take another crack at generating some restlessness, another improvised sermon. The congregation is already in a state of excitement. Any secret knowledge will almost certainly drive them to exaltation. We're also getting close to the point where we'll do the other thing with the congregation. The expedition continues. Our expedition plans for the next challenge. It'll consume funds. So it doesn't look like anybody was wounded facing the serpent, so I got a little lucky there. Okay, so it's the oldest one that got pulled away. The congregation has donated generously, and they haven't limited those donations to the collection plate. Serpent's mouth is large enough to crouch in, its tongue is the thickness of a man's shoulders, but almost certainly it will respect the power we bear. Sometimes my words and those I have borrowed move my congregation beyond mere concentration to exaltation. At last their fervor is spent. What have they made of this night? Okay, so no restlessness, sadly. And I suppose the question is, what do I want to do with the verb? We don't have the season of visions to worry about anymore. Mirrors are calm, the sun is steady, the glory recedes. I'm saying if that means anything. So I think in this case here, I'm going to... Oh, I don't actually have the passion for it yet, so I'll wait the 7 seconds. Whisper your secrets into the earth, burn them in fire, scatter them in the sea. Still, they will cling to your hair, the Tantra cautions. It provides an occult riddle that claims is sometimes the answer to the riddle of the Hunter's Gate. So, yet another Ecdysis parable. We're doing very well with Moth, it seems. And we can do another translation. So in this case, on Matthias and Amethyst Imago, loss. The diagrams and illustrations, even across the centuries, are elegant, hypnotic, occasionally erotic, and in Aramaic. So I should have looked a little more carefully. We definitely don't know Aramaic. We can get access to Aramaic, I believe, but actually... Yeah, no, we should. The Diaries of the Explorer and Murderer, Lars Westergren. He's unhelpfully translated them into Frisian for privacy. Okay, same story there. And Those Who Do Not Sleep. Okay, so yeah, I definitely should have taken a closer look at what I actually had access to. So here, the Journal of Alessandro Lacrosse. Prince Alessandro Lacrosse spent years in secret study of the tablets taken from the Fucine marshes in central Italy. His work will allow you to decipher Fucine texts. It has something in common with the Latin and something else in common with the scratchings of maddened rats. My scars are weapons. Through striving I rise to victory. There is no defeat but annihilation. In the light of the braid edge, we know ourselves. I pledge myself to the service of the strongest. Rhaenyra commands admiration wherever she goes. She reserves her attentions for those who merit admiration in return. Okay, where were we? I think I'll just kind of raise the level overall, so we'll bring Rose and Victor up to Disciples, and then we'll bring Eldridge to Victor up to Assassins. And I don't have any influences I want to get rid of, so we'll just carry on like normal. Rose is slimest, but loyal. My father will kneel as a novice and rise as an initiate. I will administer the necessary oaths myself. Well, I guess Betty's blade isn't required here. And I was waiting for something for the work slot. Right, the remaining passion, just so I can deal with the... Just so I can deal with the staleness. Because we're going to want to do this trick again in the future. It should have an impact. So. Well, there's the restlessness if I want it. You know what? I am going to punt on this one. I don't normally like doing that, but this is an opportunity for me to get a raw profit at a time that I know evidence is going to be emerging, so... Some dead are lost in the wood, some rise higher, but many, so many, pass the white door into the house and become silent forever. Last night they thronged the entrance, our mouths were healed wounds, their eyes roamed my skin, their hands sought my warmth, but my touch burnt. And they drew back, their urgency infected me. Alright, so let's just pay up for the medicine in this case. No point in risking our health. Medicine is dark and bitter as tar. It would be easy to suspect I'm being poisoned. It's gonna be a tight window. Oh, the serpent managed to win round 2. I don't think I'll pay for the paints here, and our devotion has drawn comment, but we did get money from it, so I can't complain there. If hunters found notoriety, they will try to use it to create or upgrade evidence. If they're meticulous, they'll always succeed. If they're erratic, they're more likely to fail, but they can occasionally create evidence even without notoriety. numbers dwindle. We lost the percussagant. Percussagant should be a little bit easier to restore because we can get the heart from the Orchard of Lights. It's banished or destroyed. Well, there was my vitality if I wanted it, but of course the affliction would have expired, so that was never realistically going to happen. Okay, Season of Vision's coming up. We've got a fleeting reminiscence, so I don't need to worry too much about it. I do want to be careful about the restlessness, though. All right. My recent work has attracted a couple of callers. With luck, something will sell. So apparently we're not lucky, but it's easy to see why. We've definitely got we definitely need to kind of get our creative energies back. So down to 3. So I suppose that's not too bad. In places it overlaps with languages I know. In other places, well, I can see why they call it the Tongue of Witches, but I can understand it well enough now. Okay, so I will study this, but we are at the end of our time, so I will... Actually, you know what? The translation isn't as important. So, Fusing text attributed to the mystic Broadnax is something that I will not mind rereading if I have to. But we are going to start I do want to start the summoning. So in this case, we will... Oh, first of all, supplies are low, so we will fund the expedition because I know I'm going to forget to do that. And then finally, we are going to do the ritual. So actually, in this case, I'm going to try the right of the map's edge. And this is because I can offer the restlessness. And then... Oops. I can use the icon of St. Agnes as the instrument. And that should allow me the delightful sacrament to be able to summon the Raw Prophet. Grail for the Raw Prophet's source, and a little moth for its chaos addiction. That's going to be it for the week. Thank you very much for watching. As always, if you've enjoyed the series and have not yet subscribed, please consider doing so. It definitely helps me get noticed, and it informs you of the additional episodes if you click the notification bell, or just simply it'll show up in your feed, which is personally I find helpful. If you feel so inclined as well, please do consider leaving a like or also maybe even a comment because I do enjoy hearing from all of you, and it's actually been delightful. This is, I think, the 3rd series that I've done, and I'm somewhat amazed but delighted by the number of names that are familiar from those first episodes. So even if I don't say so in the comments, I do have a fairly good memory for people who've come in before, and I really appreciate it. They actually make me feel quite good. So either way, they do help me get noticed. I personally don't do these very often, so I completely understand if you don't do that, but I always figure it's good to explain why these things are coming up, and I hope it doesn't become too much of a nuisance for me to close off that way. I will be back on Monday with another episode of this. Please enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you later.